Hello and welcome to another adventure in Steph's kitchen, and today I'm going to do something a little bit more complicated. It's taken a bit more prep, so I'll talk you through what I've done so far. I've steamed some wonderful Jersey Royal new potatoes. Some people would say it was sacrilege, but I'm actually having steamed them to not quite cooked. I'm going to roast them in the oven with cauliflower florets. So I've got my cauliflower florets, I've got my Jersey Royals, which are chopped. What I've done is I've mixed them all together in this pan, so they're coated with olive oil, salt and pepper, and I'm going to add some fennel seeds to this as well. A bit of a change from my favourite cumin seeds. So I'm going to mix those in and then chuck them, it's a technical term, chuck, onto a baking tray. I've got the oven on about 185 to 190 fan. I've got my paper in my baking tray, and I'm just going to empty all my cauliflower and new potatoes mixture into the baking tray and spread them out on the tray. Make sure I've got all the olive oil seeds. I'm just spreading them out on the tray before I stick those in the oven for a fair while. And the steaming of the potatoes just helps speed up the cooking, so that the cauliflower hasn't gone completely black by the time the potatoes are cooked. I'm hoping that will work anyway. So those go in the oven. That's the first thing to get going. Actually, they're on 190 fan. The other thing I've done is I've actually marinated some beef steak strips. I get my beef steak, it's grass-fed beef, and it's from Dorset Meat Company, and it's very, very good because it is steak rather than just sort of any old beef, as it were. And so it's beef kind of stir-fry steaks. I buy a fair sized bag of it, and then I portion it up in freezer bags. So I've got quite a bit here. I've been marinating it in, just check my my list, in olive oil, balsamic glaze, salt, pepper, garlic, ginger, turmeric, cumin seeds and paprika. I've been marinating that for certainly a good a couple of hours, probably longer, just to blend all that together. It smells amazing. And that's going to be cooked, but not for a little while yet. So keep that on one side for a bit longer. I took out of the freezer as well just a little extra something to have with the potatoes and cauliflower, some pesto, and this is my mint and almond pesto. I tend to freeze it in like a silicone cube tray with not the full amount of olive oil. So what I then do is, when it's defrosted, add extra olive oil. Then I can mash all that up. I will not use all of this pesto in one meal, because if it's for two, it's probably about right. But for one person, it's quite a strong flavour. It's quite intense. Mint and almond and garlic and lots of other good stuff. I'll run through the recipe, and again, when I do another pesto, I might actually do a coriander pesto soon, which would be quite good. So a bit more olive oil in there, and then that will be ready for dolloping when it's dolloping time. So there we go, pesto all revived and ready. So yeah, I've got potatoes and cauliflower in the oven, I've got pesto ready, I've got meat still marinating, and I've also I've done my chopping, and I've got red onion, some fennel chopped, some spring greens, some mushrooms and some tomato, and that's ready to stir fry when the potatoes and cauliflower are a bit more advanced. So I'll talk to you again in probably about 10-15 minutes. Actually, I just had a brainwave, and Fennel seeds are all very well, salt and pepper, but I just taken the potato and cauliflower out the oven, and I thought I'd sprinkle some of my dukkah that I made yesterday all over them, which is what I was actually talking about when I made it. It's great for cauliflower and potatoes and anything else. So I'm going to sprinkle a generous amount of that over the top. The smell will be extraordinary, and it's totally yummy. So that's sorted, and that's going to go back in the oven to carry on. So while I was waiting for the cauliflower and potatoes to be ready, a little voice in my head just said, "Why don't you plant those basil seeds now? I've been waiting long enough to plant the basil seeds, and time's up." My little voice said. So I planted my basil seeds, and I'm just watering them in. I've got lovely south-facing windowsill that they did really well on last year, so they're going to do really well this year too. So I've made use of the time, and I've started off lots of wonderful basil leaves, which will lead to more pesto. Awesome. Right, well, having given my fingernails a good scrub to get all the soil out from under my nails, I'm back to cooking. Stopped gardening and now cooking again. So the potato and cauliflower has only got, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes to go, and it smells amazing. I'm going to stir fry this veg now, get that going. Start it off at about 7, and just, as you know, I just empty all of it into the pan. So I'm going to come around and you can see it a little bit better. I've got olive oil in the pan already, and just move that all off the chopping board into the pan. And that is what the pan is looking like. I take my silicone spoon to that, move it up to 8.5 for now, just to get that heating up. And I'm going to soften that down for a bit before I add any of the marinated meat. Okay, so exciting bit now. I'm going to add my marinated beef steak strips to the pan, to the fry pan, with all of the stir fry mixture. And lovely colour from the paprika pepper, which I'll show you in a sec. And this is what it's looking like now. I've turned the heat down to about 5.5, and I'm going to let that cook through. I might go through this with my cooking scissors. I do love cooking with scissors, and just make the beef strips a little bit thinner, so that they will cook down. Also, it's my thing. I like cooking things in smaller bite-sized pieces. So I'm just going to let that, I'm going to chop those a bit thinner and let that cook down for a little while longer. Okay, so this is cooked down really quickly. I've managed to get my beef strips a bit thinner. I'm really happy with that. It hardly needs any cooking. And I've turned the heat down to like 3, probably turn it down to 2.5, because that's about done. But what I'm going to do, in my wonderful veg box from Timber this week, I got some. There's another local farm that they're using, organic farm, that grow the most amazing pak choi and fab radishes as well. But anyway, there's green pak choi and this dark red pak choi, and it doesn't really take any cooking, but I'm just going to chop it into the pan. Cooking with scissors again, my favourite thing, and just going to chop some leaves in. And then when it gets to the stalk, I'll cut those a little bit smaller, but they'll give it a bit of crunch. Nothing wrong with a bit of crunch. And then this is going to be almost ready. Potatoes and cauliflower are about ready, so time to have a look in the oven. Okay, I'm really happy with all of this now. I've got my cauliflower and new potatoes, all wonderfully roasted now, coated in that lovely Dukkah, and they are ready to go. And this pan is looking amazing now. I'm going to add some sesame seeds just because I can. Go really, really well with the greens. And I'm going to put some of this on a plate and dig in. I'll put some cauliflower and potatoes on the plate first, one of my bowl plates. I do like bowl food. So that's potato and cauliflower. I've got lots of leftovers, which I love. Then I'll use this spatula for the beef, stir fry, and add that to the plate too. Again, still some leftovers, which is awesome. It's totally over the top really, but I'm going to add some of my mint and almond pesto as an extra topping for the potatoes. So that, give it an extra stir. I'm just going to put a little dollop of that on top of the potato and cauliflower as a little drizzle. And that is ready to go. And do give it a go because I know it's going to be amazing. Thank you for watching.